Okay. All right. My name is Jose Hernandez, and this is Project One for EGR 329 of my presentation about machine learning. So let's just get some general background of what exactly is machine learning. So machine learning is what allows a computer or any artificial intelligence to learn without being explicitly programmed or told to. Um, and the way it works is that AI can be introduced to information and data, and with these can create algorithms and identify patterns and even make predictions. So the way this works is that programs are given tasks that imitate a way that a sort of way a human would solve problems. And with machine learning, this can be used in a wide variety of applications, such as image and speech recognition, medical diagnosis, and even identifying and eliminating security threats. So, how exactly does AI learn? So, the way machine learning can be compared to is similar to a way a child would learn patterns of behaviors. Uh, an easy example would be a learning the difference between a dog and a cat. So the way it works that data is fed into a machine that would be shown various images of cats and dogs, and with enough information, we'll eventually be able to distinct between the two. And depending on the amount of data given to the AI, will determine how effective its algorithm and predictions would actually be. So let's just give a brief history of machine learning. So, unlike what you think, machine learning didn't start in the early 2020 amidst the pandemic, like you'd think. It's actually a concept dating back all the way to the 1950s. So in 1952, there was a program that was able to play checkers. And with every match it played, it would study its moves and with enough time developed strategies that would improve its program that it would eventually see itself become a really great checkers player given its data. And then in 1967, the nearest neighbor algorithm was created. And this was a basic pattern recognition that was used to map routes for traveling salesmen. And then in 1979, the Stanford CART program was capable of navigating obstacles throughout a room. And then in 1981, someone named Gerald De Jong, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, created the concept of EBL, or explanation-based learning, in which a computer would analyze a set of data, and with this would be able to create rules that it would be able to follow. And continuing on here, in the early 1990s, machine learning changed from knowledge-driven learning to data-driven learning. And with this, scientists were able to create programs that would consume large amounts of data and learn from them. And then in 1997, the Deep Blue program was able to be a world professional champion at chess. And eventually, with this, machine learning would become so powerful that humanity would rarely, if ever, be able to beat a computer at chess. And then in 2010s, the Google Brain was developed, and this was capable of categorizing objects. And later in 2014, Facebook's deep face algorithm was able to recognize and distinguish people and faces. And this was eventually implemented in ways think of Face ID unlocks on your phone. And then in 2020, this one is the one most of you would know is OpenAI, which would develop the GPT-3, which was capable of almost human-like texts when given prompts. So let's talk, excuse me, about applications. What can machine learning actually um, be applied to? Essentially, there's a wide variety of applications. One of the just to list a few examples would be image recognition, which would be able to identify objects, people, places, or any other sort of digital media. Speech recognition, which would be capable of speech text, and often you would be used for AI assistants. Think the typical Siri, Alexa, or your tip or other Google assistants. And then another application would be self-driving cars. Think of Tesla and the way it, with its cameras and AI, is able to detect people in other cars while driving, creating self-driving cars. Email and spam malware capable of detecting harmful or spam emails, any viruses or spam that would go directly into your spam folder that you ever known. And and medical diagnosis is just to name a few. So one of the organizations I chose was one most of us are familiar with, which is OpenAI. And OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a nonprofit organization, which was dedicated to researching and developing artificial intelligence. OpenAI's mission was to advance the technology of machine learning and AI that would prove useful to humanity. Is known most for its GP3, which is a chatbot capable of generating human-like text and be able to create images and code from prompts. Yeah, excuse me. Um, and it'd be able to learn by tracking words given in a sequence. And with its algorithm, will be able to understand context and meaning whenever prompted. Um, and later, OpenAI would become one of the world's leading developers in machine learning, setting the standard and quality for what we as consumers and developers expect of machine learning. And eventually, OpenAI would launch its ChatGPT model, which was available for public use. Now, this sort of started a discussion of the ethical use that machine learning had, since its accessibility can't create some problems. Think of how students would use ChatGPT to essentially do their homework or essays, or any type of prompts that would be given to ChatGPT. The students would be able to use to sort of take shortcuts or take the easy way and not really learn anything from the assignments to be given. Now, this is a problem which we would later discuss, but I it is something we as engineers and developers have to deal with. So for the scholarly research segment, chose a article out of the National Library of Medicine. This paper was titled Machine Learning Applications of Artificial Intelligence to Imaging and Diagnosis. This was published by a James A. Nicholas and two other collaborators, in which they aimed to solve the problem of how machine learning could be used in medicine and specifically in diagnosis. The document covers the overall basics of machine learning, mainly talking about supervised and unsupervised learning. Now, the main difference between these two is that um, is whether or not any data has been labeled and that the machine could be used as guidance. Think the way in supervised learning, the machine is given data with images. Let's say the cat and dog example. It would be fed images of these cat and dogs, and the machine would see that these images are labeled as cat and dogs, able to recognize them. which is which. In unsupervised learning, the computer would be given just the images, not knowing whether or not what a cat and a dog is, and basically learning from there. Moving on, the paper discusses how machine learning can be implemented in the field of medicine, such as dermatology, radiology, pathology, and microscopy. It eventually included algorithms that show that how machine learning could outperform humans when dealing with when diagnosing skin cancer, distinguishing medical images, and detecting lymph node metastasis. It also warns about the potential downsides of machine learning in the medical field, such as it will lower the skill needed for practitioners, which in the field of medicine, practitioners will obviously need a high level of skill needed for their work, and also data quality. If the machine is given wrong or inaccurate data, it could misdiagnose, which in the field of medicine is a very important thing, as people's lives would be at stake, and you cannot have any mistakes or things like that when dealing with medicine. So here are my citations I used for my project so far. If you are interested in learning more about machine learning, you can use any of these sites that I've used in case you're curious and wish to learn anything else that I have not covered yet. So let's talk about the future of machine learning. Now, I believe machine learning is a valuable tool that will no doubt be the future of software engineering and computer science. Being able to train a program from simply distinguishing between a cat and dog to creating vast amounts of code just from a single prompt is a massive step towards technology. And there is the problem where we discussed of people abusing machine learning to do the work intended for people or using it as a shortcut. These are things we just have to take into consideration when developing these programs. And it is a problem. I believe that this will massively benefit mankind and will be a major step forward towards technology. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching.